All right, everyone, it's Wednesday. What the does that mean? Hi, I'm John, and most nights I just stare at the floor and think about symbolism. Yeah, the days of the week are surprisingly super interesting. They're named after gods and symbols, and we don't even see it. It's just, it's another Monday, or Fridays, or when I get paid, maybe. Not me. Just going about our normal lives, we're invoking these mythic symbols, the planets, the gods. We just don't even see it at all. If we can take a minute and remember the symbolism behind the days of the week, it can actually be practical. So let's take Wednesday. Remember when you were a kid and you had to learn how to spell Wednesday and there was a bunch of extra letters in it? Turns out we can blame Odin for that. Wednesday, Wodinsday, Odinsday. So why is the middle of the week named for Odin, the daddy god of Norse mythology, lord over death and magic and ecstasy, wisdom? How did he come to be the god of Wednesday? We've been using gods and symbols to mark the days of the week for a very long time, all the way back to Mesopotamia. In ancient Greece, it was the day of Hermes. In ancient Rome, it was the day of Mercury. When the Germanic tribes encountered the Roman, they were like, your god is like my god. There's even some evidence that they looked at Odin and they were like, that's Mercury, but with ravens. Sick. What's going on here? Why is that what it is, and why is it Wednesday? The interpretive call they made was pretty solid. Odin took the runes, gave writing to the world. Mercury did the same thing. Mercury is a god of magic and moving between the upper world and the lower world. Odin is a god of magic, moving between the upper world and the lower world. They have a lot in common. They're both tricky, they're both wise, they have associations with wind and travel. If it's close enough for them, it's close enough for us. We see this today with Romance languages, right? In French, it's Mercredi, Mercury's day. How is that French? Was it terrible? Wednesday is interesting because it's the absolute middle of the week, the pivot from beginning to ending. This is very mercurial. All right, so this is cool for like trivia, but is it useful? What can I do with this? Each of the days of the week does correspond to a god. We don't have to take that literally, but we can look at it like a lens. What does that god represent? And how do those things play out in my life? Am I doing the things that that god would approve of? Am I failing to do some of the things that that god would need? Maybe there's a book on your nightstand that you've been meaning to read and you haven't gotten around to it. On Wednesday, you can be like, oh, you know what? Mercury would want me to read the book. I know people who send their marketing emails on Wednesdays just for that little archetypal boost. Odin and Mercury both are psychopomps. That means soul guide. Freely move between the upper world and the lower world, heaven and hell, up here and down here. So instead of just reading or communicating, you can also say, all right, how can I go a little deeper? How can I go down into the underworld? Again, not literal. Maybe that's meditation. Maybe that's examining something from your past that you've been avoiding. Maybe that's exploring your unconscious, thinking about a dream you had. It doesn't have to be complicated. And the best place to find wisdom, like Odin, is to look at the things you've been avoiding. And Mercury is the god of alchemy. Find that junk and turn it into something better. It's a cool lens you can use to look at your life a little more symbolically, get yourself back into balance a little. Each of the 7 gods is important, so if you're totally ignoring one, not good. This is a good Symbolism 101 exercise. To take this stuff and make it a little practical without needing years of occult tutelage. I'm genuinely curious. I want to hear, what's one way you can bring Mercury or Odin into your Wednesday?